will display it. I can go back, I can go forward, and
so is this wireless? Completely
Yeah,
wireless?
this
Like
is
using
completely
Bluetooth or Wi-Fi?
Wi-Fi.
It's ideally should be Wi-Fi, but because of the restrictions, we had to use Ethernet.
Sure.
Because of AirPanet.
AirPanet restriction.
Right.
So the basic idea is to actually integrate this entire Beagle board into an existing projector, or just, I mean, that's not going to be too bad or too difficult to do. And every projector can be given like an Ethernet or a Wi-Fi interface. And from your phone, you know the IP address. You just connect to that IP address over TCP or UDP, whatever you feel like, and based on the design considerations, and then your data will just be transmitted, and you can see it on the phone, on the projector.
Does it do audio?
Not yet. I mean,
But it's
audio is like the
HDMI,
class.
right?
The professor is actually talking to the class, so you don't need to.
Well, for example, if he's playing video or something.
I mean, we could do that.
Yeah.
We could do that, but for now, I mean, the basic problem with like all the teams here and including
understand,
us is
yeah.
like the delay, the lag in the video transmission.
Yeah.
But that could be done.
Yeah, basically the way it works is it takes a screenshot of the entire smartphone. So if you're playing a video, it'll take a screenshot. It depends on how fast.
Okay. Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
optimized to stream videos. Yeah.
So this is bypassing that control switch.
That entire
Yeah,
thing that you
switching
have in every
thing.
class and professor.
It's not bypassing the projector. The projector still
Projector is
displays.
still there. Projector is still there, but
So there are people sell Wi-Fi projectors, right? So what's
yeah, but I mean, we just thought of making it a little more achievable and like reachability to the entire class and to the entire world by having it just put up on a small little board. You can do it now.
Projector, but right now you can just add this to your projector. So you don't need to buy a new projector.
And this is HDMI out that plugs into
To a DVI. I mean, we could have done that here, but then
Okay.
here you don't have a DVI input, so
Right, it's there on the
We
top.
have
right?
HDMI.
Right.
we
Okay,
we
okay.
didn't know about it.
So you can do this on your iPad or something. When you are presenting to the class, you can actually write on the iPad and make
Can
sure.
you do it on
yeah.
this one right now?
Not right now. It's an idea.
The latest smartphone.
so from the smartphone to this board, then that's just programming the smartphone. Or
Programming the smartphone and creating like a TCP client on this on the Beagle board, and that gets connected.
So there wasn't already a TCP client. We had to write that from scratch.
No, I mean, we had the operating system on it, and we programmed that to actually read the input from the TCP client, and then it is basically a threaded system, so you don't have. And we've tried to reduce as much lag as possible. The most challenging part about doing this was that we have different sizes of PDF files and then or PowerPoint presentations, but the biggest problem is the bigger the file, the bigger the lag. So if we have a smaller file, then it's like almost instantaneous to. Then we don't have the problem.
But you do something about it, or you just say, oh, that's just it doesn't work so smoothly with
Uh,
files.
I mean, we looked into activating the DSP as well, but that the DSP on board on the Beagle board can actually help you reduce the lag. And
How would the DSP help?
It was lagging about. It's lagging pretty badly.
It was lagging about
Is the
12
problem
seconds or
rendering? So the DSP
Yeah.
make it faster in
Yes.
rendering? Or?
Actually, we are using Java to display the output. So if we can do it
On a
the
native compiler, then we
platform itself, it will be quite faster. As you can see, if I
So where's
save
Java
this
running?
on the Beagle board.
On the Beagle board.
So if I can open
Okay. So it's not the lag is not bandwidth.
no,
It's something
It
about
goes
the
processing
So what are you
within
sending? You're
200
sending? Are you sending bits across? Or are you sending?
no, we are sending
The entire image
of
across.
the
It's yeah, so you're sending it every screen.
Yeah, we are just changing it. So the moment we change it, we actually send it.
Okay, so this has to decode JPEG.
Yeah, it is. So decoding JPEG and putting it on.
So video would be hard. Because
Video
unless you're
is
doing
really
MPEG and coding in real time, it's not gonna work. Okay.
So we haven't looked at the entire capabilities of the DSP, but if we can get that to work, I mean, that
Yeah.
would be.
There are some on open source software like FFmpeg that you can use on your phone.
Okay.
So it will actually create a server on your phone. So it can just connect it to your phone. It's possible.
But I have the same problem, like 40
Right.
hours trying to do this.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Oh, thank you guys.
Okay, guys, thanks.
Great, great.
So next we can use them right here.
So hey, we're team. No.
You wanna continue?
Just one second. You guys come in. You're being watched, you know?
No pressure.
Yeah, yeah.
Everywhere you look.
So we're
Nor
team
FPS.
Nerve PS, and this is our. So what we've addressed is a lot of us game. Like we play a lot of games, and the specific genre of gaming is first person shooters. And what first person shooters means is just this: you got a gun, you have your mouse and keyboard, you move around and shoot.
Okay.
So this is a first person view, and that's how someone kills us. But the game's running. Anyway, so what we're trying to address is the user interface with playing this game, because to make it more realistic, instead of using a mouse and a keyboard, we want to have an actual gun which we can simulate and move around, and a pedal so that we can actually do our movements. So what you see here is him using a Nerf gun we modified.
Raise the volume.
Oh, yeah, okay. So what we've done is we took a Nerf gun which is off the shelf. We opened it up, did some put in some limit switches in appropriate places so we can detect the trigger of the gun, and also we have a leap motion sensor over here.
Oh, you guys got it?
Yeah, so we
Yeah,
got
this
a
is on
developer's.
back order for 4 months. We couldn't get it, yeah.
So we were on the developer edition, so we got one. And actually, it's quite funny because we started off thinking we'd use an IMU when we came in because the SDK for the new firmware wasn't there. And then we spent half a day trying to do it with the IMU, and then suddenly the Leap Motion started working. So we just ported over to the Leap Motion. And so what we're doing is we've got a few, as far as sensors are concerned, you'll see there are 2 pedals below. He's moving using the right pedal. The left pedal is configurable, and we've left it open. So he's moving using that pedal. And those are just basically limit switches positioned properly and stuck onto a surface inside. So if we can show you, we just made this as 2 pieces of wood, a spring, and a limit switch so that whenever I close this, it detects a pulse. And basically, it's just a lot of smart use of limit switches in this project and the leap motion sensor. And this is our gaming console per se, where we have all these data, all the data coming in. We daisy chained one into the other because we only wanted one Arduino connected to the laptop.
What's that? Is that Arduino there?
Yeah, there's an Arduino there. So we've got a lot of wireless transmission because we wanted to make it mobile and not have direct USB connections to anything.
So
the only-
these are separate. This has a separate radio.
Yeah,
That has a
yeah,
separate radio.
everything's
and
coming in.
then this-
So this just gets it all in and
Collection.
passes it in. And we have a Java program running on the system to interpret the leap motion data and scale it up and put it in terms of mouse clicks and keyboard inputs.
Oh, so you're emulating mouse and keyboard
Yeah.
in real time. Okay.
Yeah. So, and if you see there's no significant lag, it's like almost lag free apart from, so what you see here is just him not being able to control it well, but apart from that, I lagged.
So this thing is tracking hand?
No,
No.
we've kind of cancelled off all the fingers and made it check one specific thing. So to get pinpoint accuracy, we just put a stick in front.
That's right. Okay, so that's the one.
So that's pinpoint accuracy.
Okay.
So
Oh, I
if
see.
you
So
want, you can
this,
put
this
your,
is a different sensor.
Yeah.
So there's something here.
There's
that's
nothing-
just the-
there's a trigger sensor here.
the trigger sensor. Oh, so this is the thing that's actually sensing
The position.
left and right. I see.
And yeah, so
That's the new startup that's
Huh?
trying to come up with a
I don't-
hands-free
oh.
movement thing.
Like,
so I didn't get when he got one. So I'm on the
Oh,
same
it's already shipped? Mine is not shipped yet.
Yeah, nobody got
I
it.
guess they're shipping it in batches, so
Okay.
luckily for me, when I signed up, it was the Philly batch or something like that.
Alright.
So I got
So you
that,
couldn't do
pretty
some sort of motion sensor?
We
inside
could,
this?
but the reason is there's very little lag in transmitting data if you use this, and the accuracy it has is amazing. Like if we open up, so shooting apart, accuracy you get is like insane, and this much accuracy on an IMU will not happen fast.
Like we have something which gives us this accuracy. Why not just?
We
use
started
it?
off with an IMU like I mentioned, but this SDK came in on the second day of the hackathon, and then we're like, switch over.
So I think I've seen guns for video games before. So what's different?
But those are directly, so one of the things is I've never had something which I could directly get a good feel of, so I
So a
search on the
different
internet.
thing is, you don't have a gun which functions as a mouse.
That's the,
So, yeah, coming back, I Google for it, I'm like, let's see if this is already there. And the only thing which is there didn't give us didn't give us position tracking facilities and all that.
Okay, you're not seeing my mail.
yeah.
Alright, guys.
Yeah.
Great show.
Okay, so what was the most technically challenging thing?
So individually it was fine. Technically was first getting good feedback from the trigger, because inside there's a lot of hoops, and so getting it in an aesthetically pleasing form. And then as far as code is concerned, it was just merging the data and getting the data from the leap motion, translating it in a good pattern from what was it? So translating the data we get here into something in which you can actually traverse the screen with a smooth feeling.
So the thing is, if you take it and put it on a different screen, you don't have to do anything, it will scale automatically.
So it's just more or less like a plug and play thing.
The thing is, like, I mean, the league was like pretty new, and we just get the raw data, and we still had to figure out few parts of it to get that thing working.
And then it was just making sure that the feel is good. Like
Yeah.
you have wireless, and you don't have to worry about cables, because initially we started testing with wired cables all down, and everything fell down. Your Arduinos almost fell.
So we wanted everything to be wireless, and we wanted kind of like a console feeling.
So lag and all that.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.